Good afternoon. Greetings and salutations. We welcome you to the Hump Day version of Black to Business, hosted by yours truly, Dr. Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board for the New Orleans Region Black Chamber of Commerce. With me today is none other than a friend, a frat brother, a Zulu brother, a brother's brother. He is the former 2014 Zulu Witch Doctor, and he's also a member of the chairman of the board for the Zulu Association Pleasant Club. But here today, he's representing the Gamma Rho, Rho Phi chapter of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, in particular, the Omega Men Foundation, and he is the chairman of the 2026, the Stilettos, Suits and Stilettos 2026 Scholarship Fundraiser. Well, Suits and Stilettos 3. So if you ain't making it 1 or 2, you have the opportunity to go to 3. So with me, I will introduce to some and present to others my friend, Brother Derek Rabb. Brother Rabb, how are you doing today? And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brother Coulon. Thank you for having me on your show, Black to Business. This is definitely a pleasure, and I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. So we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. Who is Derek Rabb, and what is your educational and business background?
Well, Brother Coulon, I'm just an everyday brother. I went to St. Augustine High School, where I got the foundation. Then went to Xavier and Howard, where I got a dual degree. Xavier, the physics degree, and Howard, the mechanical engineering degree. Then later got an MBA from Tulane University. Then from there, we always got to start the real work world, so to make some money. So first job off the bat, had the opportunity to work in Detroit, Michigan, where I lived about almost 3 years until I couldn't take the code anymore, working for Ford Motor Company as a project engineer. Then I had various other jobs once I got back here, from working with Shaw, Oil Company, Honeywell, Energy, where I had my longest stint for about 23 years. And now I work for a new company, which is a biotech company, which aims to basically extend the life of animals, particularly dogs.
Okay. So you're speaking of all these high-tech jobs. So what is your background? What is your educational background? What are your degrees in?
Well, my degree is in mechanical engineering, and what I've mainly done in all those different jobs, I've done project management, and I've also done supply chain management as senior managers in those different positions, the latter two.
Okay. So, and as I said earlier, you're also a member of the greatest fraternity ever, the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So when did you become an Omega, and what role do you serve in the Rho Phi chapter?
Well, I crossed those sands in fall of 1983 with 9 other guys.
Okay.
A lot of them you know.
Right.
On Xavier's campus, Xi Sigma chapter. So that was my beginning for Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, which I've met so many brothers, met so many people because of Omega Psi Phi, even got some jobs because of Omega Psi Phi. So our fraternity has been very near and dear to me. So, man, over 40 years I've been a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Right. Got my 40-year pin recently, and that was a beautiful thing. Just went to the 9th District meeting in San Antonio. About to go to the conclave, which is going to be in Cincinnati. Just can't wait.
All right. So, and what role do you serve in the Rho Phi chapter?
A Rho Phi chapter, which is the graduate chapter that I've been a part of for a while. I'm the chairman of Suits and Stilettos, which we've had for the last 3 years, and this is our 3rd year, and this is going to be the biggest year.
Okay. So tell us about the Omega Men Foundation, and is it a 501c3 organization? And tell us about that, as well as the Rho Phi chapter, and I think it's also Crescent City Q's.
Right. That's correct. The Omega Men Foundation is actually a 501c3. It's the charitable arm of Rho Phi chapter, and the Crescent City Q's is basically manage the frat house. But some of the things we're doing with Omega Man Foundation and Row 5 because we always partner with different events. The goal is basically to serve the community, mainly working with the Omega Man Foundation, as in working with the youth, particularly our young male youth, because as we know, we've been we've been losing a lot of our young male youth. And so one of the main things is to focus on scholarships and work with other organizations, for example, like STEM NOLA, which we'll be working with them doing one of their summer program here at
Okay.
Xavier, actually.
So, and with the Omega Man Foundation, because people always look at fundraisers,
Hmm.
and then not only they only look at fundraisers, but then they always want to ask what is being done with the money from the foundations. So, being Omega Man and being in the Row 5 chapter, we have certain mandated programs that we have to do. We have to put those programs out, and those programs normally affect the community as a
Hmm.
whole. So, with the Omega Man Foundation, I'm quite sure parts of these proceeds, in particular, it's going towards scholarships and what else, Brother Rap, is the proceeds going towards from the suits and stilettos?
Well, our main goal is the proceeds to go towards scholarships towards the young African American male. Scholarships that will go in reference to a university or college. And we also know that not every kid is going to go to college. So we also have some scholarships to go towards vocational programs. That's what our program is partially geared towards.
Okay.
But like I said, we also work with other organizations, which is also another foundation. For example, like STEM NOLA has for their 9th through 12th. With that STEM program, they're going to be working with AI, and we all know that's the future. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we empower our young men so that they have opportunities and hope. But mainly those opportunities are important, which helps them to have that hope. And so we're just trying to be that resource for the young African American male from that standpoint. Now, there are other things that we do too in reference to the Omega Men Foundation. We do the Real Men Read Project,
Okay.
whereas we've worked with young kids from the grades of pre-K to first grade, whereas we read to them with books and et cetera to increase their reading skill level. And we've donated laptops to the upper grades at 6th to 7th, which will help them with the reading program because there are a lot of different reading programs that can be put on their laptops, and they're able to take that home to basically raise their reading scores. And also it helps out with their computer skill set also.
Okay. So, and with all of that, how can a young man or a young lady, is it just for young men, or how
We're
can
focusing on the young men since
Okay.
that is that's a serious factor here in New Orleans. So we're focusing on the young men because we know there are a lot of sororities out there that are doing things with the young ladies and also young men. But our goal is to focus on the young men. But the younger age, we do both young men and young ladies. But we're seeing a need to focus on the young men at the upper grades.
Okay. So, how can a young man try to get a scholarship or go about getting a scholarship from the Omega Man Foundation?
Well, the Omega Men Foundation has put together a criteria
Okay.
in reference to the young men, more so like young men that are C students or even, I would say average students that are thriving to be better. And so we want to make sure that they have an opportunity because we all know that for the young men that are doing exceptionally well academically, they don't have a problem in getting a scholarship to go
Right.
anywhere. They actually will probably get 30 and 40 scholarships
Right.
because of the fact of their grade point average and what they make on the ACT and SAT.
So, is there a website or something of that nature so they can reach out, the listening audience can reach out
Yes.
to try to get a scholarship?
Yeah, there's a website, the actual Row 5 website. I think it's www.row5.org.
Okay.
And so they can go to that particular website to find out more about that. And we're going to be updating it because with the Suits and Stilettos, that's one of the resources besides the other program we have, whereas we work with the Jazz Fest, and that goes towards the educational side also. But Suits and Stilettos, the goal is to raise money to focus on the scholarships and also the summer programs.
So, if you have any questions or you want to be a part of the conversation, you can phone in, dial in, call in at 504-582-9422. And you get the opportunity to speak to Brother Rab yourself. So the phone lines are open, so do not hesitate to call. Brother Rab, how is the Omega Men Foundation and the Rho Phi chapter of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated involved in the local community? I know you told us some of the things,
Hmm.
but are there any things in particular
Yeah, there is
that y'all
one.
do?
There's one that's really good, and that is actually the Mellow program, whereas we work with the juvenile justice system to
Mm,
mentor the young men, the young male teens that are within the system. And we work with one of our chapter brothers who's actually a judge, Judge Clint Smith, and also Reverend Raymond. Those are two guys who've been instrumental in pushing this particular project. So that's another way that we work with it within the community.
cool. So tell us about the upcoming events that the Omega Men Foundation, the Rho Phi chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, have been involved in and will be involved in.
Well, Suits and Stilettos, that is our signature event for the Omega Men Foundation in Row 5. And this event is actually going to be on Friday, May the 15th. Not this Friday, but next Friday.
Next Friday.
It's going to be in City Park, the Auburn Room Pound Fountain, which is a beautiful venue in City Park. And we're going to be inside and outside. The inside is beautiful, and the outside has an awesome fountain. Whereas we're going to have some music outside, a DJ out there. We have DJ Fat. He's going to be taking care of the outside area. And we also have DJ Ross Smooth, who'll be in the inside, and they'll alternate. But we also have some live entertainment,
Okay.
which is going to be
Tell us about it.
off the chain. There's a young man by the name of Yermi Yisrael. He's a 3-time nominated Grammy artist, and he also is going to have his band. So he's going to be playing at this particular function on May 15th, and it's from 7 to midnight. He comes on at 8 p.m. So Yermi is just going to really just take the show, along with the two hottest DJs in New Orleans, DJ Ross Smooth and DJ Fat. So I'm looking to see folks come out in their best, as in get your suits ready. Ladies, get your hottest outfit, and of course your stilettos,
Right.
etc. But you don't have to, because I know you ladies have so many array of shoes to wear.
So also with that now, come looking good, but you probably gonna need your flats later on in the night.
Right,
after
you will, you
dance
will.
all night with your stilettos.
That is
on.
correct. They will.
So if not, we do have a partner, a member of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, brand new feet out in the east on Lakes on out in the east on Lake Forest Boulevard. So please do not have to go see Doc over at Brand New Feet. But if you do,
I'm sure Doc
need
will be at
to,
this
but
event.
Doc probably will be at the event. So, Brother Rap, can you tell the listening audience about the Suits and Stilettos Street? When is it? Where is it? And how can you purchase tickets or tables?
Okay. Once again, it's going to be May 15th. It's on a Friday. It's going to be at City Park, the Auburn Room Pop Fountain. The tickets are $75 in advance, and you can get a ticket from any Row 5 brother, or you can go online to get a ticket if it's hard to reach one of us, because many folks have been going online also. They can go online to www.suitsandstilettos.com. Again, that's www.suitsandstilettos.com. And that's one way where they can just get a ticket at any time by going online. Or they can get a ticket from a Row 5 brother. And like I say, the tickets in advance are $75. And at the door, it's going to be $80. And it's one thing I wanted to also say. We're bringing back this year, we're bringing back the Safari Smoke Cigar Lounge. And I know
Okay.
you smoke cigars. And that was really popular last year. So we're going to have that lounge back, right on the patio area, which everyone really liked last year.
Right. So we got a caller. Pop Jones, you're on the air.
All right, thank you very much for taking my call. I have my old lady sitting right beside me. I just want to know, give me the information where I could give a contribution.
All right. But Ralph, he wants to know where he can give a contribution, as in a donation or something.
Okay. What you can actually do is you can go to the website, www.suitsandstilettos.com, and you can make a donation there.
Oh, wow. Leto, how you spell that?
I'll spell it for you. It's Suits, S-U-I-T-S, and let me start again. SUITSANDSTILETTOS.com.
wow. You got it.
And that's the website.
I'm trying to get her to write that down.
Okay, I'll say it again. No problem. No problem. It's www.SUITSANDSTILETTOS.com.
Got it.
All right. Thank you, Brother Pop.
It's www.SUITSANDSTILETTOS.com.
That is it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So, Brother Rap, how do you see the Omega Men Foundation and the Row-5 chapter of Omega Psi-Phi Incorporated contributing to the growth and revitalization of the city of New Orleans and the surrounding areas?
Brother Cool, the goal there is for us to bring opportunities to the young male African-American youth here in the city of New Orleans. And when you bring those opportunities, you actually bring hope. And so we plan on doing that through a couple of things. One, like we said earlier, through the scholarships for seniors that either will be for a college of their choice or a vocational school. And I always say a vocational school because, like, my dad didn't have a college degree. My mom had all the top degrees from her undergrad to master's and doctorate. But my dad owned his own business. So, and he did exceptionally well, had a body and fender shop with his brother. So the way I see it is that the way the committee's looking at it is that we're going to give them options. You don't have to just go to college. You can go to vocational schools and we'll have scholarships for both. And then to get to that point, we're going to work with the younger grades through the STEM program and through other programs that we see that can help them to get to that level of, may it be for a university or college, or it may be for a vocational school.
Okay, good deal, good deal. So tell us, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face personally and professionally, and how do you keep going?
Well, the biggest challenge, I would say, from a personal standpoint, when anybody loses their mother, that's always a big loss. And so you basically have to rebound from that. And so the way anything, may it be from that personal loss or a business that I started with some other folks, it didn't work out, but I did some other ones. So the lessons that I've always learned and what have always kept me grounded is my faith in God and just basically staying consistent in my faith. That is what has kept me grounded, and it always keeps me going. And as it always says, you're more than a conqueror. And so you just have to keep going.
Oh, yeah. So what message do you want to send to aspiring community-driven visionaries such as yourself?
Well, one, I would say find a community cause that you're passionate about. Because if you're passionate about it, it makes it easier to keep doing it. And even when things may not be going exactly the way you want your program to go, but if you have a passion for it, you will find a way to make it work, and you'll find the right team and the right resources.
So what are the future goals of the Omega Men Foundation and the Row-5 chapter of the Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity Incorporated?
Well, one, to always basically service our brothers within the chapter. May it be from a standpoint of morale, or maybe a standpoint of friendship, or when a brother's in need. And some of the other goals would be, like we talked about earlier, from working with our youth and then just working in the community overall. Because like I said, we do other things, we do Easter baskets to the young kids that are basically in the local hospitals, like the children's hospitals. We do Thanksgiving baskets, and I spoke about that Mellow program. So just to keep servicing the community and to be a strong pillar of opportunities and hope within the community from a fraternity standpoint.
What legacy do you want to leave as DRAP, the Omega Men Foundation, and the Row-5 chapter of the Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity Incorporated in the city of New Orleans and the surrounding areas?
Well, that's real easy. Basically, as we climb to different heights in life, we want to make sure that we also are lifting up the next man to be able to climb with us. So that's one of the goals. Yes, sir.
So, Brother Rab, tell us about who or what has motivated you to be the person that you are.
I say my parents, from my father and also my uncles. They've always owned their own businesses. And then I would say my mother, from the educational standpoint, since she was a teacher and a principal. And so those individuals are the reason why I am where I am today, and I've been able to accomplish the different things I've been able to accomplish.
So, can you please tell the listening audience what's next for Derek Rab?
A consulting business, which I'm working on now, actually. So that's what's next for me. Besides what I'm already doing, I'm taking everything that I've learned and going to put it on paper and go help some businesses and some individuals.
All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to getting a call from you so you can join the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce with your consulting business.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but with the Omega Men Foundation, the Row5 chapter, all of that, because I know, as being a member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, being in leadership for roughly 20 plus years now with that it's a business. Most people don't see it as that, but it's a 501c3. Most chapters are. Most chapters have a foundation. Whereas you got to file taxes, you got to do a whole bunch of plethora of things, and then not only that, but you also are dealing with the members' money. And
That's
you're
correct.
not only dealing with the members' money, but you get money from the community, or you give money to the community. Just about every chapter has a scholarship foundation or something of that sort. So it's business, and it has to be ran as a business. And we got to look at it as a business. And when we do various events, it is a business. And then we not only do business, but we also try to always do business with black businesses. So my sisters and brothers of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, we always look at you to have your paperwork and all your stuff together so we can do business with you. And then you have to be a reputable, credible business. And then and customer service is one of the biggest things.
I agree.
And I get so much flack because, we represent black businesses every day. But then when you tell somebody about going to these restaurants and other businesses that we have, and then if you walk in there yourself and you're there for 5 minutes standing at the counter and nobody has greeted you, that's a problem.
That is definitely a problem.
So we got to continue to look at that, and we got to continue to look at who we are and what we do and how we do it. So, Brother Rab, I'm going to go through the community calendar right quick. So the community calendar for this week, we have Mother's Day coming up on the 10th on Sunday. So please make sure that you do what you got to do. And not only do it for your mama on Sunday, but do it every day that you have her. Because, I think Bill Winters said it best, ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
That's true.
There was another song that he made called Grandma's Hands. And Grandma, man. So congratulations to all the 2026 graduates. Shout out to Room 104 at McMahon High School. Next weekend is Zulu Anniversary Weekend from May the 15th through the 18th. So we will be outside. So please be outside with us. And next week on Black to Business, I will have none other than my college professor of sociology, Brother Dr. Clarence Thornton, who is the author of Cultural Expressions from the Soul of New Orleans. So tune in on next Wednesday to catch and hear what he has to say, and then go out and get his book. It is being sold everywhere from 1999. Brother Rab, do you have any closing remarks as we leave today, but not each other?
Okay. I just really want to thank you for having me on your show. And this has really been good because I've listened to you before and some of the different folks you've had on it, and you're doing a great job in reference to Black to Business and supporting Black businesses. Because if we don't support ourselves as in Black businesses, we may not be here. We'll start losing them, because the most important thing is that we start supporting ourselves more so, because our ice water is actually colder.
There it is. So yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called present. Enjoy the gift and see you next week.